Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And with Black Friday sales winding down, I wanted to give you guys my picks for the best optional uniforms. But I also wanted to give you guys a bit of a PSA here. In doing these videos now twice a year, I've started to notice a trend where fewer characters' uniforms are used in other good characters' uniforms multiple times. What that essentially means is that the devs have gotten wise to players' ability to wait a couple of years and then snap up a bunch of uniforms that are optional uniforms and provide stats to a lot of other really good uniforms. So rather than stockpile on the same uniforms, they're spreading things out. So it's very hard now to find very high value optional uniforms that are optionals for lots of very good meta uniforms. You can obviously just go and sort by the uniforms that appear most often as optionals, and you can get value there if that's interesting to you. But when I make these videos, I'm not just looking at, okay, Cable X of Swords is used as an optional for 8 other characters, including Colossus Hellfire. I'm not looking for that, because Colossus Hellfire is good, but 7 of the other uniforms that Cable is an optionals for, just they're shit, right? So we're not looking for that. We're looking for meta characters whose optionals are going to appear multiple times. So the first example here is Valkyrie, where you can see she has an optional uniform for Shadow Shell, Ghost Rider, and Apocalypse, 3 tier 4s. Now, it's not the best options because it's the legendary option, which gives you defenses or dodge, but it's still for 3 different tier 4s in a wide variety of contexts. Ghost Rider PvE, also PvP, Apocalypse PvP, Shadow Shell, you know, whatever. So this is a pretty good uniform in and of itself. Like, the Valkyrie uniform is good, and then it's going to provide optional stats to multiple useful uniforms. Sticking with transcended characters, another option is Blue Dragon, and she appeared on my last list as well. As you can see, there's a lot of, there's some overlap because, like I said, the devs aren't stockpiling a lot of optionals on the same character anymore. So Blue Dragon is the mythic option for Sharon Rogers, the rare option for Human Torch, and most recently the rare option for the new superior Carnage. So these are 3 highly, 3 good tier 4s, and these are all really good slots. For Sharon, it's attack. For Human Torch and Carnage, it's attack or HP. It's the rare is the best slot because it gives you the choice of either HP or attack. So this is a good optional uniform for a character that is not even that bad as a tier 4. Although he got his zombie uniform most recently, the Back to Basics cap is an optional for 3 tier 4s right now: Odin, Silver Surfer, and Mr. Fantastic. This hasn't changed from last year. They just added Mr. Fantastic, but it already had amazing value with Odin and Silver Surfer. Ironheart Riri Williams uniform should be recommended to you as a support uniform, but it's also available for 3 different tier 4s. Most recently, Mr. Fantastic, same as Captain America, but previously Star-Lord and Silver Surfer, making it a pretty decent pickup if you want to buff those characters. Similarly, while Namor's uniform may be recommended for him because it buffs him up to a pretty high tier from where he last was with Phoenix 5, his uniform is also a really good optional because it hits Odin, Mystique, Scarlet Witch, and now Model Nil Iron Man. So 4 tier 4s. That's a lot of value there. You also have the mythic option for Mystique, and then you have decent options for both the Witch and the Iron Man. Venom's Warstar uniform is his newest, but his King in Black, I was actually shocked to see how many meta characters are chosen for optionals. So you Professor X, whatever, but then you have Heroic Ghost Rider, Advanced Wolverine, and then rare or the best option for Apocalypse and the new Spider-Man. So this may actually be the most valuable, or one of the most valuable optional uniforms in the game now, because of Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. That's just 3 insanely meta characters that King in Black Venom is buffing. Another combat type here, Wolverine, X of Deaths. This one, it only has 3 optionals right now, but it's 3 tier 4s who are all meta. You've got Mythic Gladiator, and then you've got Legendary Scarlet Witch and Carnage, so this one still holds quite a bit of value. Angel's seasonal uniform will never appear as an optional uniform because it's seasonal, but his previous uniform, All New X-Men, is available for a lot. Now, you do have some regular tier 3s, kind of useless characters or supports only, but then you have Heroic Mystique, Heroic Apocalypse, and most recently, Heroic Null. So 3 tier 4s, 2 of them are decently meta, one is obviously Giga meta, and so for that, I think he deserves a mention on this list. When Woo only has 3 optionals, but so far they're good. You have Hulk, Rescue, and then Null. pretty much any optional that has some decent picks and features null is going to be mentioned recently because of how good null is. Odin's uniform makes him formidable, but it's also a good optional. You have Wen Wu's Mythic, who we just talked about, but more importantly, you have the best optional for both Hulk and Doctor Strange. So that in and of itself is worth a consideration. Saber-tooth's uniform, not very good for Saber-tooth, although it's his most recent, but it does buff up Rogue's Heroic, Thor's Best at Rare, and then Captain America's new Zombie at Heroic. For Spider-Man, we're going to go all the way back to the No Way Home integrated suit. So that's the red No Way Home suit. I know this is a bit of a throwback here, and I know you're going to see some old uniforms like Iron Man's old uniform, Green Goblin, but more recently you have Ghost Rider and Wolverine. So this one is not necessarily as much value as some of the other ones I've been showing, but it's still decent value for the last two optionals there. I was shocked with how good Kraven's uniform is as an optional. I didn't realize this, but Hela, and then Mythic Quicksilver, and now Advanced Psylocke. 3 tier 4s, 3 solid uniforms, and hopefully more in the future. Maybe because they know they're going to replace this one with a uniform for his movie in a few months. Stryfe's uniform, only available as an option for 3 other uniforms. You can see they're spreading it out, but on the other hand, they're all solid tier 4s. You have the best for Mystique, then you have the Mythic for Scarlet Witch, and the Advanced for the new Zombies Captain America. Although Carnage got his superior look, the old Fallen Soul Carnage is an optional for a whack ton of uniforms. Now, yes, there are some bad ones here, like Squirrel Girl's Nutty Titan, and then Hulkbuster's not great, but you have Miles Morales, Luna Snow, Captain Marvel, and Sentry. That's 4 tier 4s, 2 or 3 of which are meta. You can't ask for too much more than that. I know I don't need to convince anyone to pick up Adam Warlock's uniform if you're going to build him, but if you're just going to think of buying it as an optional, it's actually a really good idea. Mythic Hela, Mythic Surfer, and Mythic Apocalypse is a pretty crazy way to start your optional uniform lifespan. And finally, still one of the best, Wasp's newest uniform from Ant-Man and finally, Wasp from Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, still a solid uniform. We mentioned it last time we did an optionals video. Rare, or the best Ghost Rider, Gladiator, and now Gwenpool. So there are others that we can talk about, like we didn't mention Blade, we didn't mention Punisher. There's quite a few other uniforms that can make this list in one way or another. Baron Zemos, for example, maybe. Cyclops, the newest Cyclops, he desperately needs a new uniform. Emma Frost from the Hellfire Gala, Hyperion, Enter the Phoenix. There are certainly others, but eventually it just comes down to what's meta as well. I don't just want to talk about a uniform that is featured a lot as an optional, like I mentioned earlier in the video. I want to highlight optional uniforms that are going to apply to meta characters, not just a bunch of characters. So I noticed that the trend is kind of shrinking, where fewer and fewer, really valuable optionals appear. That means I'm probably not. This probably will be the last time I make this video. It really depends on if it changes for the devs, but otherwise, if it doesn't change for the devs and you're watching this video in the future, it probably doesn't get too much better than this. And you're only going to probably get 2 or 3 uniforms value out of an optional uniform. Like, you're not going to find an optional uniform that buffs more than 3 good uniforms at any one time, because the devs are kind of shuffling things around and spreading things out now so that it's more balanced, so that you don't have like one uniform, like, I don't know, the old Crescent uniform, for example. That was an optional for like 8 good uniforms. That just won't happen again. It's unfortunate, but yeah, it just means that you don't have to rely so much on this either, which is good. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.